The Speedway Classic. Rain delays, long lines, high prices. Some people are thinking it was a disaster. Okay, let's back up because I was there. And the truth, it wasn't perfect, but it sure wasn't a disaster. And here's what really happened Barnstormer style. But before all that, before the lines, the rain, the buzz, I want to back up even farther because the drive into Bristol, it was something else. We rolled through the mountains, cutting across stretches of Tennessee and Virginia where time just slows down. And I've got to say, it was gorgeous. The kind of scenery that makes you breathe deeper, think a little bigger. There's something about rolling into a ball game with that kind of backdrop that makes it less like a trip and more like a journey. Even before I walked into the Speedway, I already felt like I was part of something bigger than myself, surrounded by super fans all over the world, all chasing that same moment. That's what the story really is. It's not about a rainout, it's about the adventure of getting there and experiencing something unforgettable together. Before even getting to Saturday, there was a whole weekend vibe happening in the area. I didn't make it to any of these, but I wanted to share them with you so you know they do this just in case you're planning a similar trip like in the future. On Friday, fans could head to the Paramount in Bristol for a Braves versus Reds viewing party, or you could catch Atlanta Braves Tonight, which is a live panel with Michael Waltrip, Mark Wohlers, and Coach Tony Vitello. There was also the Appalachian League Championship down in Johnson City. So even before the main event, there was already a lot to soak in. Okay, let's start with the obvious. It rained hard. The skies opened up before the game even started. And to be honest, I still question whether they should have started at all. It was risky. The weather was sketchy. And once they got going, the rain delay wasn't just inconvenient, it was potentially dangerous for both the fans and the players. A friend that was watching, back in Chicago, he told me that the commissioner said after the first delay that they were going to play tonight. And I get it. MLB wanted to make this happen on Saturday night. For whatever reason, financial or just for the fans that were there, they wanted to make sure everybody got to see it. So they tried. And like all baseball games, sometimes it rains. Me and my wife were soaked, like absolutely drenched. We came unprepared. We figured it would be a really nice sunny day. I guess that's what you do sometimes, but it really wasn't. And unfortunately, we couldn't come back on Sunday. So I totally get why people were frustrated. Long lines for food, long lines for merch, and wow, everything was expensive. And look, I get it. It wasn't cheap to be there. But let's be real about this. If you bought a ticket to a once-in-a-lifetime baseball game inside a NASCAR track, you probably had some idea that food and merch weren't going to be bargain bin prices. But even with all that, the moment you stepped into Bristol Motor Speedway, you felt it. The buzz, the energy. This wasn't just another night at the park. This was something different, something bold. So, why Bristol? Why build a baseball field inside a NASCAR coliseum? Because MLB wasn't just trying to repeat the Field of Dreams formula, they were going bigger. Over 91,000 fans packed into the last great Coliseum, shattering attendance records that stood since the 1950s. This was the first MLB regular season game ever held in Tennessee, and it made a statement. Where else can you watch an MLB game between turns 3 and 4 of a NASCAR track? This was baseball inside of a stadium for 100,000 screaming race fans, and over 91,000 showed up in the rain. They built a proper field, brought in the lights, the scoreboard, and all the infrastructure from scratch. We're talking 19,000 tons of gravel, military-grade laser leveling, and custom bullpens and dugouts. Even the batter's eye had to be rebuilt, twice as tall as the original one at the track, and it didn't feel like a gimmick. It felt like an attempt to create something new. I saw families smiling. I saw kids wide-eyed. I saw people just soaking it all in, like me. Here's the thing that gets overlooked in all the rain talk. The baseball was good. Eli White hit 2 home runs, the first ever inside a NASCAR track, and he wasn't even supposed to start. He was filling in for Acuna Jr. Hurston Waldrop called up that morning, drove up from AAA, and earned us a career MLB win. Luke Williams made a game-saving diving stop in the 8th. And of course, Ellie De La Cruz pulled off a double play from his knees that looked like it was edited in post-production. I had some things going on Sunday, so I couldn't be there in person. But I watched it, and man, even through the screen, the energy still came through. This wasn't just a makeup game. This was a moment. Look, it wasn't perfect. The seating was a little weird. The sight lines weren't amazing everywhere. And yeah, the rain delay did hurt. But I didn't go expecting perfection. I went to be part of a moment, something rare, something people would talk about for years. And I got that, because even soaked to this bone, I was smiling. At some point, we just leaned into the absurdity, the rain, the delays, the whole, what the heck are we even doing here energy. We laughed. We turned it into a memory. That's not a disaster. That's an adventure. The fan zone was bigger than most ballparks. 220,000 square feet of Ferris wheels, stock cars, food trucks, and MLB and NASCAR legends like everywhere. Even Redzilla did laps around the track. And the concert? I saw 5 before the game started. Timothy Wayne, Raina Roberts, Adam Doliak, Jack Owen, Tim McGraw, and even Pitbull. It was a music festival inside a baseball game, inside a NASCAR track. The uniforms, racing flames, checkered flags, and catcher's gear straight out of Talladega Nights. Chipper Jones threw a first pitch to Jace Elliott. Kyle Busch threw to Johnny Bench. This wasn't a baseball game that happened to be at a racetrack. This was 2 sports and 2 fan cultures colliding in the best possible way. It was wild, it was loud, and it was unforgettable. Were you there? Did you watch it on TV? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If today's journey earned your subscription, I'm grateful. And if not this time, maybe next time. A like and a ring of the bell go a long way in supporting the channel. There was a lot to take in, and I hope you soaked it all up like we did in the bleachers. Keep exploring, keep dreaming, and I'll see you at the next stop.